It started with a chord nobody was supposed to hear anymore. By the time I found it, someone was ready to kill to keep it quiet.
Riff Pianzo, backbeats in the city of Blue Notes. Riff Pianzo, a private investigator working the late hours, in a town where the music never plays straight and trouble always comes in on the backbeat. Tonight, another case, another long night. Tonight's case on the backbeat, the Lost Chord.
It was one of those nights when the air felt heavy, like it didn't want to move unless it had to. Smoke curled up from every doorway, like the city was breathing out secrets it didn't plan on keeping. Outside my window, a tired sign blinked. Riff Pianzo, private investigator. Half the letters were dead. Seemed fitting. Yeah, I'm Riff Pianzo. I solve problems for people who can't hit the right note. Some folks call it detective work. I call it improvisation. I don't play an instrument, but I've made enough noise to qualify. That's when she walked in. Isabella Melody. Her name matched her looks, easy on the eyes, hard on the heart. The kind of woman who could make trouble sound like a good idea.
Mr. Pianzo, I've lost something near and dear to me, the Lost Chord.
Lady, I'm no piano tuner. You sure you've got the right office?
This chord isn't on any piano. It's an ancient musical relic. My family guarded it for generations. Now it's gone.
An ancient relic, huh? You got a lead? Or am I supposed to whistle in the dark till inspiration strikes? She gave me a note, not the musical kind, the kind written by someone who thought punctuation was optional, sharps, flats, something about finding the key. I don't like riddles unless they come with a bottle of gin. By the time I hit the street, the city was wide awake and grinning. Jazz leaked out of doorways. Every trumpet sounded like it had something to confess. The night had rhythm. I followed it. Benny's Blue Note. The piano was always a little drunk, and the customers weren't much better. I talked to a trombonist, a bass player who owed me money, a drummer who swore he'd seen the Lost Chord walk out wearing a red dress. Musicians, they never take anything straight. The deeper I dug, the worse it sounded. Someone didn't want that chord found. I felt eyes on me, the kind that didn't blink. Notes turned into warnings. Warnings turned into bruises. By midnight, the trail led me to an abandoned theater, the kind where dreams went to collect dust. A saxophone cried somewhere in the dark. Too good to be casual, too close to be safe.
End of the line, Riff.
Johnny Sharp, a rival jazz man with more ego than talent. He held the Lost Chord like it was a backstage pass to heaven. You always played dirty, Sharp. Guess some tunes never change.
He never understood the music, Pianzo. Some songs aren't meant to be played.
Then why steal the sheet music? He came at me fast. We tangled. A duet nobody asked for. Sharp hit the wrong note, face first into his own finale. The chord was in his case, humming low, like it wanted to go home. Isabella took it like a memory she didn't trust herself to touch.
Thank you, Mr. Pianzo. You've restored more than music.
I didn't answer. The city was already warming up for its next number. I pulled my hat low, stepped into the fog, and let it swallow me whole. Because in this town, every case ends on a blue note, and I'm the poor sap still playing the song.
You've been listening to Riff Pianzo, backbeats in the city of Blue Notes. Tonight's case on the backbeat, the Lost Chord. Join us again for another case, another long night, and another tune that doesn't quite resolve. Riff Pianzo, Backbeats in the City of Blue Notes was created by Goldie Goldsmith Vigneri and produced by Goldsmith Vigneri Productions. This program was transcribed for GVE Originals.